All right. So let's talk about the overview of IBM Cognos solution as a whole. So talking about IBM Cognos, the kind of pitching the product as how are we doing, why are we doing, and what should we be doing. So basically, it's an enterprise solution wherein the focus is predominantly on the on corporate performance management. When I say about corporate performance management, it would deal with your analysis reporting as well as your budgeting and planning. Okay, so IBM Cognos solution as a whole, combined with Cognos BI and TM1, it kinds of bundles out both the products and gives a single platform for decision making. So you can have your reporting, analysis, your scorecarding, dashboarding, everything integrated within one single system.
Okay.
What we're going to focus is basically on Cognos TM1, which is used for high frequency planning. So basically, the question of what should we be doing gets answered in the planning and the planning part of IBM Cognos.
Okay.
Looking at the components within the IBM Cognos family, so you have couple of BI analytics components. You have budgeting, planning, and forecasting components, and you also have something called as Cognos Controller. So BI analytics basically would be used for your reporting, dashboarding, scorecarding, analysis, and all these things. So you have a lot of other products within the BI analytics, a lot of tools, I would say, not products. So there are Report Studio, Query Studio, there's Framework Manager. There's also some other components which deals with cubing technologies. So those are Transformer, Business Insight, Analysis Studio. Business Insight now is Cognos Workspace Advanced. Coming back to the budgeting, planning, and forecasting side, what we have is the enterprise planning, which is the which is coming from the older versions of Cognos. Initially, Cognos used to IBM used to pitch in enterprise planning as the budgeting, planning, and forecasting tool, but now they're pitching Cognos TM1 as the budgeting, planning, and forecasting. And there's one more tool which is Cognos Controller. So this tool is basically used for consolidation. Now when I say about consolidation, I can just give you an example wherein you have a big organization having multiple subsidiaries across different regions and dealing with different currencies. So what generally happens is like I say, like the couple of languages within the entire globe. So when I say something in Hindi, it means something in English.
Yeah.
So there are all different coding and sort of symbols across different languages. Similarly, in accounting as well, you have different types of different ways of accounting, or different codes of accounting. So if you are an organization and you spread across different locations, what generally happens is your accounting, your financials, everything is it's not streamlined, it's not standardized. So basically, to standardize that process of consolidation, Cognos Controller is used. So basically, all your accounting aspects of all your subsidiaries, or all your other organizations which are your subsidiary organization, which are accounting in a particular way, and you want them to be standardized, and you want a consolidated balance sheet or consolidated profit and loss, and consolidated budgeting, then you go for Cognos Controller. Okay, but it's pretty much very much different from what TM1 is. So let's not focus on that currently, but it's good to know like what Cognos Controller is.
Yeah, Ravi, one thing. Since you're saying that now IBM is focusing more on the TM1 as far as the planning tool is concerned. So, so is it budgeting and planning and forecasting? Is it a separate tool earlier? It is still being used, or it's been discarded altogether? What exactly?
So it's not discontinued yet. But what they kind of do is enterprise planning EP as it is said. What they're kind of doing is they kind of trying to integrate it with TM1. So there are certain features of enterprise planning. Okay, like your IBM Cognos contributor, which helps to derive the workflow of the entire budgeting and planning. So that is one of the features of enterprise planning. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to do integrate enterprise planning with TM1. So the users who were initially using enterprise planning and who want to go for TM1 for much faster what I say is more which are large data volume centric, and they want much faster results in the budgeting, planning, and more efficient system, I would say. So they're going for TM1, but the essence of enterprise planning is added with TM1 now. They're kind of trying to integrate both the products together. So what my guess is that eventually it will go off.
Okay.
But it again depends on the entire, I mean, the IBM folks, like what they do. So
Absolutely.
it all depends on them. All right. So just move on. Tapas, so just out of knowledge, do you know the difference between OLAP systems and OLTP systems?
Yeah, I do know. Yes.
You know that, right? So basically, OLTP system are basically your transactional processing system, and OLAP is basically used for your business data warehousing and your analytics and reporting purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll not spend much time on this slide. I'll just move on.
Yep.
So let's talk about Cognos TM1. So when I talk about Cognos TM1, one of the major features of Cognos TM1 it is in memory. Now when I say it is in memory, in memory is something like it reads and writes the data from the system's RAM. Okay, so that's the reason. That's one of the reason why it's really very fast. The performance of TM1 is really fast, and it's real time, because it's stores the data in the system RAM, gets the data from the system's RAM. So the fetching the data is really very fast. It's not going and doing any input and output operations. No I/O operation is performed. It's not reading from a data disk. It's directly reading from a system's RAM. So it's really very faster. Okay. So that's one of the features of TM1. So there are other tools as well which are in memory, which you may have heard. There's one of them is SAP HANA.
Yeah.
And SAP HANA is currently used in the Cricket World Cup. All the analytics are from SAP HANA. So it's one of the tools, but again it's very costly for the organization.
Okay.
There are other tools as well, like the ClickView is there. You would see SBase as well of Oracle. So there are a couple of tools in the market which are in memory, and TM1 is also one of them. So TM1 is pitched in a way wherein both large scale organization and mid level organization can take the benefit of Cognos TM1. Okay, so and SAP HANA is a tool wherein only large scale organization can really afford to buy that tool, because it's really very expensive, and implementation cost of SAP HANA is really very costly, because the consultants are very barely available. They're not very niche technology, and they're not much available in the market. So that's the reason why it's really very costly. And TM1 is it's kind of a tool wherein it's gripping currently in the market. You would see a lot of TM1 opportunities coming across, maybe across Australia. You would see a lot of in the UK as well, I would say. Good market of Cognos TM1. BI, right? Cognos BI, you know that.
I know Cognos BI, yes.
Yeah, so Cognos BI coupled with Cognos TM1, it's a very good demand in the market for those folks. So currently the opportunity for TM1 it's really very good.
Exactly. In UK, I mean, because it's a kind of a financial capital of Europe, all the major banks are here, the head offices are here, like HSBC, Barclays, and all those banks. Okay, so yes, there is a lot of demand for TM1, and that is one reason I'm trying to upgrade myself, because I know Cognos BI, but of course I'm trying to upgrade myself to TM1.
That's great. So one of the reasons why why it's gaining popularity with BI plus TM1, one of the reason is that TM1 nowadays also used for as a data warehouse, as a cubing technology, because Cognos BI doesn't has a very powerful cubing technology. It has transformer, but transformer has got its own limitation, a lot of limitations within transformer as well. So that's the reason why people are looking forward to Cognos TM1 as a a data warehouse, as a reporting data warehouse, wherein all your cubing needs, all your slicing, dicing, drill up, drill down needs get solved. So that's the reason why Cognos TM1 is a skill which a BI guy should look for.
Yeah.
A couple of other features of Cognos TM1. It's kind of non-technical, user-centric design. I say non-technical basically is for the end user, not for us as a developer.
Yeah.
So don't get confused with that.
No.
Okay. So the other important feature of Cognos TM1 is the Excel-based approach. So basically, your Cognos cube, the cube of TM1 can be browsed in Excel. Now when you see a lot of finance guy, they the bread and butter is Microsoft Excel. You would see
Absolutely.
finance people digging in themselves inside Excel. They'd be knowing n number of functions within Excel. Even we don't know those functions, but finance guys they really love Excel. So Cognos TM1 as a technology, when someone asks you to change something, when you're working on a particular thing and something new comes in, so there's always a resistance. Okay, so
True.
one of the major features of Cognos TM1 is that finance guys can use Excel, and they can browse the Cognos TM1 cubes, and they can also create their own calculation and save the Excel file and again open it. So all these things are available within TM1. So that's the reason why it's very much likable by the finance guys. When you show them that okay fine, now you can do something in Excel as well. So they really very like that tool. This is one of the major features of TM1 as well. The other thing is that it's deployable in a standalone configuration. Now that's fine, and it can be integrated with different Cognos components. As I said, it can be integrated with BI. So that's one of the features of Cognos TM1, which absolutely should be there because it's an IBM product. So it should definitely go and integrate with all the other products as well. But it is one of the features. Right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the TM1 capability in a nutshell. So one of the questions that should come into mind is like, what is planning, budgeting, and what all we talking about? Like, why is TM1 used for planning and budgeting, and what exactly is planning and budgeting? So I'm sure you must be knowing planning and budgeting. Are you aware about planning and budgeting, Tapas?
I do have some idea, but haven't worked on any of these projects. Basically, to be frank. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just give you a very layman example.
Yeah.
Say as we guys normally we are earning salary, and we have our own expenses. Like we have our household expenses, we have our entertainment expenses. Now when I have to plan out something, like at the end of the year I should have some $20,000 in my account. That's what my plan is. But to make sure that plan executes, I'll have to budget.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'll start off budgeting. I'll start off saying, okay, fine, my entertainment expenses would be this much for the month. My household expenses are this much, and my traveling expenses are this much. I'll kind of arrange my all the expenses together, and at the end I'll come out the outcome like, okay, fine, this is how much I would be saving per month. And looking at the yearly forecast, what I can say is that I would be able to save so and so dollars. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that is planning and budgeting in a very layman's term. The next sentence that I say is what if scenario modeling for forecasting. Now what if scenario is something like, say you kind of you have entered your budget, okay, and somehow you're not able to meet your plan. Like you wanted to save $20,000 per year, but some of the reason why you're not able to save it. So what you'll do is like, okay, what if my household expenses reduces by say $1,000? What if I reduce my entertainment expenses by $500? What happens to it? So that is something called as what if scenario modeling. Like, what if I do this? What's the result? So on the fly you will get the results. On the fly the numbers would change. Okay, fine. Now if you do this, you're saving $15,000. If you do that, you're saving $22,000. So that is something that you would really want to have in a planning and budgeting solution. In any solution, I would say. So taking that layman terms into into organization's term, what I would say is that in an organization also there are a lot of departments. There are a lot of it could be a product development company, it could be a manufacturing firm. So to an organization to achieve its goal or a strategic plan, they'll have to budget for each and every department, for each and every section of their expenses. That's the reason why organization go for this tool, wherein they want a centralized repository for all the planning and budgeting activities that they carried out throughout the year. Okay. So that's why I say centrally managed business hierarchies, rules, and calculation. So there'll be a lot of within the Excel files, even if you see, there'll be a lot of calculations. Correct. They'll be saying, okay, fine, to derive this amount, I will be doing some plus minus multiplication, division, so and so on. so forth. So there will be rules and calculation. So that is something, you take out of the Excel and you put it in TM1. Okay, so that is where your rules and calculation and centrally managed business hierarchies would come into picture. So normally, generally, what used to happen was, there were finance guys used to do their budgeting, but what they used to do was, they used to have a Excel format of their own. Some other department will have their Excel format of their own. Some other department which is somewhere in the other location would have their own format. So what will happen is that sending Excel file through the emails and maintaining it is a big nightmare. That's also one of the reasons why people opt for Cognos TM1. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So coming out of the scalability aspect of TM1, we come into built-in data and metadata integration. So you must have heard about ETL tools, extracting, of course. So built-in data and metadata integration is something like, when I say this, TM1 has its own ETL tool inside TM1, which is called as the Turbo Integrator. Okay. So you extract the data from a data warehouse into TM1 cubes using the Turbo Integrator. So it's called as built-in data and metadata integration. So all your metadata as well as data can come into TM1. Okay. And one of the other features, it leverages Excel functionalities and skills.
Yeah.
That is again I've already mentioned.
Absolutely.
Moving on, let's look at the architecture overview. So this is more of architecture from the list of tools that are available in TM1 and overall architecture of what all server architecture TM1 has. And so looking at this, it has 3-tier architecture. One of them would be a web clients, wherein the data would be presented to the end user. There is the web server and the application server. So you'll have the web servers and the application server. Application server is generally on Tomcat, Apache Tomcat, which is the default version when you kind of install Cognos TM1. It can also be deployed on WebSphere, but it's fine. That's too much on the administrative aspect. Then there is a data tier. So TM1 has its own data server. Okay. So you can extract the data from a database and pull the data and push the data into a TM1 data server, and then TM1 kinds of reads it from its own data server. Okay, so it's kind of a disconnected architecture, unlike framework manager relational model, wherein it's always connected to the database. It's just the metadata available in framework manager, but here you have your own data server. You pull the data from database and push it to the TM1 data server. So here you see Cognos TM1 admin server and the Cognos TM1 server. Okay, the data is presented in a couple of ways. So there is Cognos TM1 application web. So there is a web portal which comes in. So you can see the data in Cognos TM1 web. This Cognos Insight. One is the connected. Connected is basically connected to the TM1 available online. You can go to the web, and check it out. Distributed Cognos Insight distributed is something as a desktop client application, wherein the client can install its when it installs the client on the desktop, and you can create your own analytics. So it's not something that is connected to the TM1 cube, but slightly a different way, slightly a different version. And there's Cognos TM1 Performance Modeler, which has been added recently in the latest version. When I say Cognos TM1 Performance Modeler, it's kind of really the course that we kind of going to go through is exactly a replica. Same thing is available in Cognos TM1 Performance Modeler as well. Okay, like you say, like you use Query Studio and Analysis Studio. Okay, so there's no much difference about Query Studio, Analysis Studio in terms of dragging and dropping things. Okay,
absolutely. Yeah.
If you know Query Studio, it's not so much difficult, to go and create models in create reports in Analysis Studio. That okay, fine, this is how you drag and drop and stuff like that. So Cognos TM1 Performance Modeler is basically a bit of tweaked version of Cognos TM1 Architect, which is a client tool used by the developers.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's not worry about Cognos TM1 Performance Modeler. We'll grow once we go through the training. We'll look at Cognos TM1 Performance Modeler as well, and see exactly what the mini difference is there between the client tool that we'll be using for the development and TM1 Performance Modeler. Okay, and then there is Cognos Insight, which again talks to the application server directly for fetching the data and stuff like that. Cognos Insight basically would be used, for your contributor, your EP contributor is there, wherein there's a workflow defined, like a general workflow, like say you are a sales head, okay, and within you have couple of sales representatives, and you ask them to prepare the budget and submit it to you. Okay, so it's kind of hierarchical approach wherein all the sales representative reports to you, sales head, and sales head reports to the CEO or whatever of the head of the company. Okay, so basically you create hierarchies and workflows in Cognos TM1 after you have designed your entire TM1 model. Okay, and then you present it to the end user. So the end user would kind of use it, and kind of submit its data. Like, okay, fine, sales representative will submit its budget to sales head. It will flow into sales head bucket. From sales head will look at the figures, like, okay, fine, what have you entered for the budget? He'll then say, okay, fine, I approve it, I reject it, or whatever. So that's kind of a approval hierarchy which flows into between sales reps to sales head and so on. So let's not worry about that part. It's just kind of a bit not complicated, but it will come at a later point, and it's not a big deal to define Cognos Insight applications. Just a cakewalk. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now talking about your role as a TM1 developer. So your role was be to design and create the cubes that hold business analysis. So you'll be creating cubes. Okay. Design where to store the cubes. So where you would be storing the cube, who would be given access to. So there'll be a lot of stakeholders in the organization, and who should get access to which cube depends on the entire security, and the security stuff, all those access and all those things would be decided by you as a developer. You will be given the requirement, and you will be maintaining all those stuff. So you have to decide where to store the cubes. The other one of the role of as a TM1 developer would be to import the data into the cubes from transactional system and other data sources. So this is again the ETL stuff I was talking about, the turbo integrator. So there are two main parts within you as a TM1 developer. One is learning Cognos TM1 contributor, and the other is understanding the rules engine of TM1, which is the fourth part, create formulas that perform calculation. So if you know these two tools, other tools are very not much complex, they're very easy. Administrative part is also very easy, and performance modeler part is also very easy.
Okay, so what does the contributor does, Ravi?
Contributor is basically for the workflow. So now it has been replaced by the Cognos TM1 performance modeler. It has been replaced by this performance modeler.
Okay.
In the latest version.
Perfect. Okay, understood.
Okay. Yep. And talking about the course content which I've shared with you, so it basically covers pretty much all the things that you should be knowing right from the scratch till the very advanced version of TM1. Advanced advanced level of TM1. So that the course definitely covers pretty much everything. What I would suggest is you go with this course, and if you feel the need to learn Cognos TM1 performance modeler as well, and the other aspects of TM1 like integrating TM1 with BI and all such stuff, then you can go for our for the next set of course as well. So basically this course is a promotional offer. We are giving it for 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other course, if you want to go ahead with TM1 performance modeler as well, then it will cost you 5,000 more. Okay. But what I would suggest is you just look out at like this course, how it goes, how you feel, are you comfortable with the teaching and all such things. Then you go ahead and enroll for that, or if you want to do it by self learning, you can do that as well. It's all up to you.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes, Ravi. No, I think I will go with the course. Not a problem at all. Only thing that if you remember, I told you last time when I spoke in that timing issue.
Yeah, that's issue. That's not a problem. So can we do it on weekends?
Yeah. Absolutely. I am more than happy to do it on the weekends. Yeah.
So 3:30 right now. What's the time with you?
It's 10:30.
Okay, 10:30
in morning. Yeah.
Okay, 10:30 in the morning, right? Okay. So what we can do is, we can do it on Saturdays as well as on Sundays.
Yeah.
Sundays, I think the Sundays.
So for you, Ravi, sorry. For you, Ravi, what time is suitable on the weekends?
This is a good time for Saturday. We can start off with 3:30 to 5:30. For Sunday, if you can just make it, at around 2:30 to 4, that will be great.
Okay.
Okay.
That should not be a problem. Yeah, no, that's fine. Because the reason I was saying is because if it is good for you to go early, so say for example, if you want to do it, say probably 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock your time, so that in the weekend, so 7 to 9 Indian IST, so at 9 o'clock you will be free, okay? Yeah. So you have the rest of the weekend with you if you want. So
no, that's not absolutely a issue, because I do have trainings lined up for the entire day.
Okay.
So that's not really an issue, but because it'll be too early for you. So I don't want you to be in a mood wherein you get up and you're doing it just for the heck of it. That should not be the issue. You should
absolutely
have the interest in the training. I mean, you should also be benefited. It should not be like only me getting benefits.
Okay. No, that's good then. That's really good. That's really much appreciated then. Yeah. So, right. Okay, Ravi, I mean, what I will do, can you please share your account number and the bank name?
Sure, I would do that. Yeah, I would send you an invoice. I would send you an invoice. Yeah. And you can then, go ahead and, pay for it.
Perfect. Okay. That would be fine. And
sorry, couple of days I was just, couple of days we were just kind of busy. On Friday, the entire, I don't know, Thursday, some network issues was there with the internet, and it was Holi, so I was also not in a mood to provide training. And
no, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah. Ravi, one quick question: the number that I have, the number I've called you, are you on WhatsApp then?
Yeah, I'm available on WhatsApp. You can.
In case you have to give some quick message, so I can.
Yeah. Anytime, if you want to, you want to change the schedule of the training, anything, you just drop me an SMS. Just drop me a WhatsApp message or just email me. That'll be fine. Okay. I'll understand that. It's not an issue.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks, Ravi. Thanks. Much appreciated. I really liked it. Yep.
All right. Have a good day. Yeah. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.